The history between the Oakland Roots and El Paso Locomotive began last year when the Roots went into El Paso in the playoffs and eliminated one of the top teams in the league. Stakes not quite as high tonight at Atlantic College. Both teams will have it tomorrow, but it's a match that will have a major impact in the playoff races that are beginning to heat up. Alongside former MLS goalkeeper Jeff Attinella, I'm Joe Malva. Happy to have you with us tonight on ESPN Plus from Oakland, California, and a matchup brought to you by Credit Karma. A look at the standings in the Western Conference. Oakland nipping on the heels of the teams above them. They don't have the games in hand, so that's why every single game is of paramount importance, especially a night like tonight where you have El Paso ahead of you in 5th place, and it is a 6-point swing. And these teams already met once this year. It finished 1-1. They shared a point each in El Paso back in April. Going into that game, both teams were struggling. Coming out of it, they really changed the way they were playing.
Very excited for this one. We talked to both coaches, and you talk about how much they enjoy the way that their teams play, how much they want to dictate the game. And I'm very excited to see this one because I'm expecting a very back-and-forth game. Two teams that are very confident in how they're playing right now. And it should be a good back-and-forth game that I'm excited that it has a lot of playoff implication. It should be a lot of action.
You take it back to April 23rd. Look at that, 1-5. El Paso starting slow. Oakland 1-3-3. Since then, it's been much better for both overall. Significantly better on the El Paso side. That put them in the playoffs coming into tonight in the standings. And for Oakland, they're on the outside looking in. A couple of things need to improve for Oakland if they're going to make that final push into the postseason. One of the big things that has swung their way is a nice player to watch, Paul Blanchette, the goalkeeper. Jeff, you know from your experience, whenever you get into a zone like this as a goalkeeper, it affects the rest of your team. They have that confidence in front of you.
Right. When as a goalie, when you're feeling it and you think that the ball just cannot get past you, all you want to do is play games. All you want to do is get back on that field. And obviously, he's in a good rhythm right now. The team has a lot of confidence in him. And when your goalie's playing with confidence, it allows you to do a lot of different things and allows you to be confident in the way that you want to play.
Now these teams both hope to be in the postseason once the regular season ends. Oakland on the outside looking in for now. El Paso squarely in the mix. This will be a big one in terms of the overall pecking order. It's Oakland and El Paso coming up next on ESPN Plus.
We are driven by a purpose to build healthy communities where everyone deserves a shot at fulfilling their dreams. A place where inclusion, acceptance, and equal opportunity are the norm. A town where all people have access to nutritious food, healthy lifestyles, and quality healthcare. Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots are breaking down barriers to ensure people stay nourished of the mind, body, and soul, all while having every opportunity to succeed. We welcome Oakland Soul to the town. Together, we will make the East Bay better for everyone.
I'm really excited to be a part of EBCE because of all the opportunities it'll offer me to save money.
I was surprised to find out that I could actually have a choice about where my energy comes from.
Thanks to EBCE, our kids are going to have a clean planet to live on when they're older.
I need the power to work in my studio. Of course, I'd love to be able to use more renewable energy.
We now have choices, and I'm happy to choose East Bay Community Energy as my source for local clean power.
I need to try it first.
Tonight's match is presented in part by Anthem Blue Cross, User Testing, Credit Karma, UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, Coca-Cola, and Modelo. Just about ready to get things going from Atlantic College Football Stadium in Oakland, California. Another beautiful sunny evening here in the Bay Area. A look at the starting lineups for both teams brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local community. As we take a look first at Juan Guerra's Oakland side. The man up top, he's got 13 goals. He's leading the way in the league. Otar Carlsson just gets it done week in, week out.
Yeah, leading the league in goals, golden boot right now. I'm excited to see what he brings to this game. It's a very important game for Oakland, and if he's scoring goals, then you know things are going well for the side. If he's able to put one behind the goalie tonight, then I think things will get exciting for the home side.
On the other side, John Hutchinson, he's got a very experienced roster and somebody you've played with, Velasquez, there on the left side of the midfield.
Spent time with Sebastian Velasquez at RSL. He's a good player, dangerous left foot. I also spent time with Evan Newton, the goalkeeper goalkeeper there. I'm excited to see what he could do. He's settled into this lineup nicely, and he's adapted to the way that El Paso has been playing.
It'll be El Paso from left to right in the baby blue, Oakland from right to left in the black, and we are ready to kick things off here from Laney College. These teams met earlier this year to a draw. They met last year in the postseason in El Paso, which was an Oakland upset. What do we have in store for Chapter 3 between these two clubs?
Looks like an absolutely perfect night for a game of soccer.
Lorenzo Hernandez sends us on our way. And the last time these teams met, it was Oakland in the early going who got the goal, went up 1-0, and then just the poor luck on the Oakland side. A ball ricocheted off the face of a defender and into the goal. And that's just the season in a nutshell. Had a laugh with Juan Guerra about that in our chat ahead of this match. Just anything that has seemingly been able to go wrong for Oakland this season in games to turn 3 points into 1 has, and that sort of takes the cake. A deflection off your defender's face into the goal for a 1-1 draw.
Sometimes, and he wouldn't go this far, but sometimes you just have to laugh at unlucky things like that. He's really enjoyed the way his team has been playing. They had, I think it's 10 ties on the season, which is quite a lot of ties. And you know if you're tying that many games, you're getting some unlucky breaks. But he's very confident in the way his team's playing. And right now you see them already on the front foot getting a dangerous set piece.
Hernandez, well, he'll try it again. Lorenzo Hernandez comes in with a couple of toots of the whistle to make sure everybody's playing nice in the box, and now Jose Hernandez is ready to take it again. Looks like Oakland has some sort of set play here, all stacked up at the penalty spot. Hernandez whips it in. No trouble in the end for El Paso to deal with.
I don't think that's the ball he's looking for there. You want to put it in a dangerous spot, especially this early in the game. If you're able to make them defend a dangerous set piece, then it makes life a little bit harder for El Paso.
And the flag stayed down. Formella with it. Plays the ball in. Shout of a handball there. And you could see Lorenzo Hernandez pointing to his shoulder on the upper part of his chest. Nothing nefarious. Both of these teams like to play with the ball. And Juan Guerra pointed out that only one team can win the possession battle, so it was going to be interesting to see tonight who does go on to win that battle. And he felt whoever wins that battle has a better chance to win the game. Possession isn't everything, it's what you do with it. But for two teams who like to dictate the tempo with the ball at their feet, a night like tonight, whoever wins that battle very well may go on to win the game. And we take a look at the injury report brought to you by UCSF Health and UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. A handful of guys out for both sides. And also of note, Solinak is out with a red card suspension on the El Paso side. So who do they look to up top to fill in the goal scoring? He's got 7 on the season that they are missing tonight. Here's Asokar back on the left side tonight. When Oakland played against LA Galaxy 2 a couple of matches ago in that loss, and they went down in that game by a couple of goals. Juan Guerra put Asokar and Rito, the typical wingbacks, on the same side, and Memo Diaz on the left side. That's how he started the game against Sacramento last week, but tonight back to the more traditional look with Asokar on the left and Rito on the right.
That was great defending there by El Paso to get control of that ball. It was a dangerous situation for Oakland, but they did well, and now they're controlling the ball the way that they like to.
And tonight's kickoff was presented by User Testing. Real-time feedback from real customers wherever you work. Visit usertesting.com to learn more. Out to Asokar in some space. He's got 6 goals on the season. Rito has 4. You've got 10 combined goals from your wingbacks. It presents a unique danger for a team like Oakland and the way they like to play. And it slipped through to Carlsson. Asokar coming to help out. And Newton keeps it from going out for a corner.
Something to be aware of in this first half. Newton is dealing with a lot of shadows in that goal box. It looks really challenging. In situations like this as a goalie, you want to be super safe. You lose the flight of the ball, you can lose the read of the ball very easily in those types of shadows, so it's something to be aware of.
On the other end, Paul Blanchette looking directly into the setting sun. That probably doesn't feel too good on the eyes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night, but sometimes that sun can play games with the goalkeepers.
Up the right side. Brief bit of space there for Cristiano Francois, who turns 30 tomorrow. Rich history in this league. Francois, just 1 goal, 1 assist on the season. He hasn't quite provided the offensive punch El Paso was hoping for from a guy who coming into the year had over 30 goals and 30 assists in this league. On any given night, he can make life difficult, especially up and down that right wing against a team whose wingbacks like to get high. From the corner to the back post. And it's beyond Ricardo Zacharias.
Good defending there by Oakland. It was a good set piece in. Obviously something that they drew up, playing the short ball to try to draw the defenders out. It's good service in the box, but well done by the center backs to get that clearance.
El Paso has turned things around in a big way. 5 wins, 5 draws in the last 5, unbeaten through 10. We talked to John Hutchinson about what maybe stemmed the turnaround for this team, and he said they just chalk it up to having more time with the players in a league that is rooted mainly in transition and playing up tempo. We're a team that wants to slow it down and control the game. He said it's a stylistic difference, and we overhauled most of the roster, so we knew it would take time. Said the season started maybe 2 to 3 weeks earlier than they would have hoped. They have no control over that, and you could see it in the results, the way things went early on. They've had the time together, and it's clicked. And he couldn't really point to a specific game in which it clicked. Rather, there was a day in training, he said, in mid-April, where there was a different buzz about the training ground. Players grasped what they were being told to do. They were confident, and then from that point on, they won the game the next weekend, and the one after that, and the one after that. And since then, they've only lost 1 game on the season.
It's challenging when you play this type of system and you have players coming in and out, and it's a system where you need to rely on your teammates. You need to know where people are going to be showing up when they don't have the ball. You want to keep the ball, you want to press. Everybody needs to be on the same page, and it takes time to build that type of rhythm. And you can tell that El Paso is starting to find that, and they're starting to click.
They lose 5 of their first 6 matches on the season. And that's a team that is now sitting at 9 wins, 6 losses, and 6 draws. So you do the math. It's been a terrific turnaround after losing 5 of the first 6.
I love that about our conversation with Coach Hutchinson, though. He talks about playing their style, and that no matter what, they're going to play their style. It doesn't matter who they're playing. It doesn't matter where they're playing. That they have a type of formation and they have a type of game that they want to play. And we talked about it. It takes time to implement things like that, especially when you're turning players over, when you have a bunch of new guys coming in. Those types of things take time. But he stayed true to what he was saying. He kept at it, and now the team is getting the results, and they're playing a style that they're happy and they're comfortable in.
Just 1 loss in the last 15 games, 8 wins, 6 draws. A team on its way to the postseason, it seems. Oakland joined them. They've got some work to do. Flared over to the back post. Almost fell for Janssen. Knocked away by Matt Boehner. And Janssen retrieves down in the corner. Gets his defender to fly by. Slots it through. Opportunity brewing in front. Put over the bar. From maybe 5 yards out. Asokar somehow missed the target.
He does a great job here. Ball comes in, turn way too much space if you're El Paso. You can't give him that much turn. And again, we talked about this with Coach. Too many missed opportunities. They're creating a lot of opportunities, but they're just not putting the ball in the back of the net. You get that much time in the box, you get that much space. If you're at home in a must-win game, that's a ball that you want to see hit in the back of the net, and you should be celebrating in the corner flag right now.
Talk specifically, Juan Guerra, about last week's game against Sacramento, the 3-3 thriller. Their expected goals were up around 4. And whenever you play against a Sacramento team in Sacramento with their defensive track record this season, to have that many expected goals, it tells you your team is doing something right, but then you don't pick up 3 points, and it tells you you're doing something wrong, and it's not finishing quite enough. Can Formella change that here? It doesn't matter. The flag went up in the end.
Well, you can tell they're on the front foot already. You can tell that they're great in possession, and they're really timing their press well, so that when El Paso is bringing the ball up, they know exactly when they're going to go, and they're on the same page. And that was something that we talked about. You're getting these opportunities in front of the net, and even there, that's a dangerous ball. He's a little bit offsides, but they're playing dangerous balls in, and they're finding these opportunities, and they're sitting in front of the net, which, if you're the coach, not much you can ask for. You just need guys to put the ball in the net.
Brought down by Velasquez. Out wide for Zacharias. rather for Borelli. Calvillo steps to it, shared a nice embrace pregame with Juan Guerra. They've linked up in the past couple of times. The all-important possession battle tonight that both coaches talked about. So far, it's just about split down the middle as Blanchette sends it through. 55-45 right now. Slight tilt toward El Paso. It's not a number you necessarily want to be hyper-focused on, but when both coaches tell you the team that wins that battle this week may likely win the game, you maybe have to pay a little bit more attention to possession than you typically do.
It's something that you could tell both coaches were very stressing on. They want to keep the ball. They want to be able to dictate the pace of play. They want to be able to dictate the game. I think they go about it in different ways, but at the same time, they just want to keep the ball and they want to be the people that are on top of everything.
Gomez tries to strike and it's out for a throw-in. Borelli trying to turn this into a corner, pointing down at the flag. It seemed like he didn't know where that ball went out, but only a throw. Hines checks.
Little gamesmanship.
You're never going to get a referee to forget where the ball went out, and this one is a corner.
Maybe he was just predicting the future.
I'll ask for the lottery numbers later. Oakland this year has struggled at times on set pieces. Momentary lapses have cost them big points in big games. The first time they have to contend with one from this far side of the field. Everybody looking through the sun. It's taken short and now swung in. Still loose at the end line. Chip to the back post over everybody. Francois. Play it in. Calvillo plays it along. Contact edge of the area, no call made. One cleanly by the Roots. And now Calvillo commits the foul. Matt Boehner had a chance at it in the box briefly, it seemed, but didn't quite materialize for Locomotive.
Did his best here on top of the box to take on a bunch of defenders. Ooh, that's a close one. He had them diving in. He had the Oakland defenders diving in. Could have gone either way. I'm sure they would like to see that called a foul.
At the end line again with another chance. Gomez earns another corner, and especially, again, at this time of the day, can't stress this enough, the way that sun is streaming in from the far side. You get a free kick just outside the area like that, and it makes life difficult on Paul Blanchette.
That would have definitely been a dangerous situation. El Paso doing a good job of sustaining this pressure here. They had that set piece, and I don't think they've gotten out of there 25 yards from the goal since then. Real important here from Oakland to defend this set piece.
Short again, Maris whips it in. And they counter. Almost got it through Torito. The possession edge is climbing now for El Paso. I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. It was 55-45. They've got it up to 60% now as they settle in. And John Hutchinson said that he wants any fan watching an El Paso game to be able to come away from it saying that they were aggressive, but they were in control. They don't want to be reckless. They want to force the issue in possession in the attacking third, but be in control while doing that. It seems like those two are oil and vinegar. How can you be aggressive and on that front foot, but also be in control? There's a balance to strike, and he feels this team has struck gold, and the results show that.
When he's saying that, he's talking about it's okay to be aggressive, but it's okay to, you have to be systematic about it. If you're going to press, if you want the ball, if you're going to do these things, it's okay to be aggressive, but you can't be reckless. And that's what he means when he's saying that. Because if you're going to press, you need to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And if that's the way that you want to win the ball back, that's great. But you have to make sure that everybody's doing it together, because the second, especially a team like Oakland who can get you on the counter, who also loves having the ball, the second that you lose that, you turn the ball over and they're off and running.
Almost had a chance right there on the counter. Paso wins it. Hernandez. It's it out for Janssen. We'll say Hernandez again. Plays it through for Mikkel Janssen. And line puts it in front looking for Carlsson. And it's swept away by Andrew Fox. Quarter of an hour gone, scoreless between Oakland and El Paso with Jeff Antonella. I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us tonight on ESPN+. Clementa drives it in, back post. Asokar heads it back where it came from. Not even close, but the flag was up anyway.
You can tell that El Paso's having a hard time dealing with some of these balls, these whipped-in balls. I'm telling you, these shadows are challenging. They're difficult to deal with for defenders. They're difficult to deal with for goalkeepers. If I'm Oakland, I'm going to keep feeding these balls in, start whipping the balls in. You want to stay on sides, but this is a good strategy for them right now.
Now, we don't know who won the coin toss per se. We didn't actually get down there on the field and ask them that question, but hypothetically, if you were in that coin toss wearing the captain's armband, would you have picked to face away from the sun and deal with those shadows in the first half, or to be on the other side and have your goalkeeper staring into the sun?
I would have rather been staring into the sun, because at least then it's pretty consistent. With the shadows, it makes it so challenging because you lose sight of the ball so quick. If the ball crosses, a good cross comes in and you lose it in those shadows, it's almost taking an educated guess of where you think the ball is going to land. So if it's me in that situation, I just assume to look into the sun so that I know what's going to happen and where it's coming, unless they have a better understanding of, you know, where the sun's going to set in the second half or which side will be easier for the second half. But if it's for me, I'd rather just have the same thing throughout, because those shadows can be real challenging from time to time.
Here's Zacharias. Came over from USL League One Chattanooga Red Wolves and has found a way in this lineup on a regular basis. His 19th appearance tonight, Zacharias, just his 9th start. And he's found very irregular playing time for El Paso. Roots fan, help us welcome our women's team, Oakland Soul, to the family. Make sure to check all the latest merch by visiting shopoaklandsoulsc.com. This is game 1 of a 3-game homestand here for Oakland. Vegas next week, Phoenix after that. And they know they need probably at least 7, if not 9, to make this playoff push. Starts tonight. Longaro was very candid in that regard. Didn't go as far as saying it's a must-win, but in so many different words, essentially said that, where these 3 games, he said, would dictate the way the rest of the season went. It's not a must-win. Technically, it's not exactly what he said, but if you have a coach saying these 3 games will determine whether or not we make the playoffs, you know he's leaning toward calling it a must-win.
You can't go as far as saying it, but I think that he's trying to get a sense of the urgency of the situation. And especially for this game for Oakland, if you like the way you've been playing, if you've been creating dangerous chances, you get a team at home ahead of you in the tables, you're hunting down a playoff spot. Again, I won't say it's a must-win, because it's not a must-win until it's statistically a must-win. But if you're talking about needing these 3 games, then you know how important this match is.
Chance here, whip toward the far post. Aaron Gomez was waiting for it to come down. The Roots defender stopped for a moment, looking over to the assistant referee, waiting for the flag. There were 2 players over there. It almost seemed like one was off, but Gomez was not. And the Roots fortunate that that one did not end up in the back of their net, because Paul Blanchette might have let them have it if they stopped playing and let him under fire like that.
In important games like this, that's the last thing that you need, is somebody putting their hand up, calling for the offsides, and you don't get the call. Things like that as a goalkeeper are very frustrating, because you want to see people playing the game all the way out. They were fortunate there to get away with it, but going forward, they got to keep playing the ball all the way through, because you never know what a ref's going to call at any given moment.
Thrown in by Borelli and settled by Andrew Fox.
So far, I think the energy level has matched the game, though. You know, we're excited. We're expecting a back-and-forth game, 2 teams that want to keep possession. And I think the game's going exactly kind of like the coaches talked about. With Oakland, they're sitting back a little bit more. They're not pressing as high, but when they get their chances to get on the ball, they're going at El Paso. They're keeping the ball and they're driving. They're trying to create dangerous chances. And El Paso is doing a great job on the ball. They're dictating the game. They want to be on the ball. They're pressing to try to get the ball back. So I think in terms of how the game's going, both of these coaches are going to be happy with what they're seeing.
Be a lot happier if either side can get a goal before the break. It was 1-1 at the half when these teams last met, and it finished 1-1 on that evening as well.
Some great last-ditch defending there. Dangerous opportunity for Oakland.
Hernandez calmly goes back with it. The back three of Murad, Clementa, and Flynn Mayor haven't typically been the back three. Danny Barbier usually in the mix for Oakland. But all three players on that back line have played plenty this year and more than capable. Played through now for Carlsson! 14! A man on fire. He won't stop scoring, and the Roots go up 1-0.
This comes in with a great ball. This starts with Jose Hernandez. He gets on top of the ball, comes back, gets it from his center backs, and he plays an absolutely great ball out wide. Picks his head up, sees the space. If you're El Paso, you want to get a little more pressure on the ball. Great ball in. Carlsson finds a spot, slips it near post. We talk about those shadows. You wonder if that's a little bit of a difference. He has too much time to pick his head up and pick out the forward run. And if you're El Paso, you want to get a little more pressure on the ball. But you got to give credit to Carlsson. That's a great finish. And let's recognize Jose Hernandez for picking his head up, playing the right ball, getting the ball from his center backs, spreading the team out. Great finish. And that's a dream first 20 minutes for Oakland. That's exactly how you want this game to start.
And that is a $510 donation to Spectrum Community Services, brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Spectrum Community Services enhances the quality of life of over 10,000 senior and low-income residents in Alameda County each year through their programs.
There's nothing worse for center backs and goalkeepers when the ball goes out wide and the person has all day to pick their head up and get a cross in. If you give good players time to pick their head up, they're going to pick out the forwards, and it's going to be a lot of trouble, and that's exactly what we saw in that situation.
Back the other way in the middle. It was loose for a moment. Blanchette cut off the angle on Francois. Almost a perfect response from El Paso.
This game looks like it was exactly as advertised.
Started a little slow, a little cagey. Two teams who like to be in possession of the ball, trying to stake their claim to the ball, but now opening up. Chances are there. Oakland converted its first real chance. El Paso now playing catch-up. And when they met back in April, it was Oakland scoring first. It was early. It was the 13th minute. Formella got the goal. Only took 20 minutes for El Paso, though, to respond and make it 1-1. Maris out for Francois, and a corner on the way.
Dylan Maris is doing a great job when he gets the ball. He is driving at the center backs. He's making people commit to him when he's dribbling, and then he's spraying the ball wide, trying to find the dangerous spots.
Jet with the fans behind him and a lead in front of him. The corner to the back post off the bar. And they'll do it again. Or not. A very late offside call against El Paso. Referees were conferring for a moment. So Oakland bailed out by the flag, but nearly 1-1.
That's a great ball in, and that's interesting because that's the first time that they didn't play short. They had been playing short to try to draw out the defenders, but they play the straight ball in this time and they get their best look of the night. A little bit lucky for Oakland that it hits the crossbar, but you know, that's something to be aware of, that they just changed up their corner kick strategy there. Saw some good results from it too.
That was already the 5th corner of the evening for El Paso. Back to that goal for a moment for Otar Carlsson. He's a guy who's done it in so many ways this year, from the penalty spot, with his head, from free kicks, left foot, right foot, you name it, he's done it. He's done everything this team has asked of him. Played back in the middle, the other way, looking for Gomez. And Wangara chalks up the success for Otar Carlsson to the preparation he puts in early in the season, and still to this day, he'll stay after practice. He'll hit an extra 50 shots with crosses coming from both sides. Shielded off by Clementa, and he turns out of the danger. It's that kind of preparation that comes up in these big moments now for the Roots.
There's nothing better. I used to love when I was playing and when our best forward, when the guy that was scoring all the goals would stay after practice and shoot on me. Because you could tell that they just want to perfect their craft. And it's guys like that that if you're clinical in front of the net, if you know how to put the ball in the back of the net, you're going to have a good living playing soccer because it's so important. And when a guy continues to work, even though they're already on top of their game, you just love to see that as a teammate. You know, I love to see it as a goalkeeper because it used to always make me better going against these guys. But to hear that he's playing so well, he's in the lead of the Golden Boot, and he's still staying, getting touches in after practice, putting the ball in the back of the net. You saw it there. You made it look easy, and it's not an easy thing to finish crosses like that.
And none of those players after practice ever scored on you. You had a perfect record against them.
It was a good opportunity to talk a lot of crap. I know that much. Those were your favorite guys, though. Those are the guys, if you're scoring all the goals in games and they're still putting the work in after practice, those are the types of guys you love being on your team.
Here's Carlsson again, lays this one off to Janssen. Janssen puts it through. That ball seemed to be rolling across in slow motion. Not sure if it was a shot, if it was a cross. It ended up in the hands of Newton.
They're finding some success on this right side, getting crosses in from this right side. It seems to be a formula that they like right now.
Take a look back at that last chance. Again, it came off of a turnover by El Paso in their defensive third.
That's the risk of being a possession-oriented team. If you want to keep the ball all the time, you got to be very safe with it, or else you're going to get caught on the counter. That's a risk that El Paso seems willing to take, but you got to really, really value the ball and trust the ball, especially in your own half.
Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's Choice, Player's Choice. Now it's Oakland dangerously playing with it at the back, and El Paso closing in. A fortunate bounce as it goes off the leg of Nick Hines, out for a throw-in with Fuenmayor under the pressure. Question for Oakland now becomes, can you hold this lead? They've been the cardiac Roots and have earned a lot of points from behind this year, but they've also given away some points from ahead. Last week included when they took that 3-2 lead against Sacramento, and last week again just the perfect illustration of the way Oakland's season has gotten. They came back a couple of times in that game. They go ahead 3-2. And the last play in stoppage time, they cough up 2 points and tie Sacramento instead of beating them. Striding through here, who was that? That was Emra Clementa, the center back, looking like a center forward. He's getting forward a little bit more often this year than he did last year, and he's smiling all the way back up the field. I had to do a double take for a moment.
I don't know if he was looking like a center forward because he cleared the ball up the field, but that was a great combination play. He did a great job getting forward. And sometimes the center backs, when you see those openings, you just have to take them. Unfortunately, the final product wasn't there. Maybe that's why he plays center back, but he did a great job of combination play and making something dangerous happen.
He does a heck of a job as a center back or in the captain's armband. He can be forgiven if he puts the ball into orbit trying to go forward, but now he'll have to employ his center back trade here defending this free kick.
Those are the types of shots in shooting drills where you like to yell, "Step the group," like you're clearing the ball up the field. But no, he did a great job coming forward, and I love that he's taking advantage of that opportunity. You want your guys attacking, especially the way that Oakland plays. If you see an opportunity, you can't be afraid to take it. The final product wasn't there, but it was great 1-2 combination.
Hernandez, a wily veteran move, just standing over that, not allowing El Paso to take it quickly.
Hernandez and Velasquez, couple old RSL guys coming back together.
Velasquez in the Monarchs organization 2017-2018. Hernandez from 15 to 18, so 2 years as teammates. Maris guided away by that Roots back line. He wanted to save that on the far side, Janssen, and turn it up the field for a counter, but ran out of room.
Unlucky there. You could tell he wanted to get on the end of that ball to start the counter. Unfortunately, it runs out of bounds on him, and now El Paso's still in a dangerous spot.
Himes bringing it end line, and this one out for a goal kick. Celebrate Climate Night on July 23rd when the Roots take on Las Vegas Lights FC at Laney College. Select number of tickets are available. Call 510-488-1144 or visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more information. It is a week from tonight, and it's the middle of the 3 home games in a row here for Oakland. Part of the reason 9 points has to be the target is their August is light. Coming into the night, they've played 21 games. They don't have games in hand on anybody. In fact, everybody has games in hand on Oakland. Coming into the night, playing more games than any other team in the league. Their August is light. They play once on the 13th. They don't play again until the 24th and then the 27th. So it's very spread out. It's very sparse. They need to pick up as many points as they can. Another chance here to pick up a goal if the point to the spot is made, and it is. Hesitation from Lorenzo Hernandez, but a chance from 12 yards out to double the lead for Oakland.
And this starts with Carlsson coming back and receiving this ball. Once we get the replay going, Carlsson does a great job of checking back for this ball, receiving it, finds the open space, draws the center back out, finds his winger making the run, and then from here it's just speed. Drive, speed, foul, pointing to the spot. You love that out of your center forward to come back and receive that ball, because if the center back's going to follow you all the way, it creates so much space for your teammates. Again, we're talking about the unselfishness. Great play by Carlsson to come back, great speed on the wing, and now Oakland's in a great position to double their lead.
It'll be Carlsson from the spot. He has a chance again. Got his 14th of the season earlier tonight. He's taken 5 penalties this season. He's converted 4. For his 15th on the season to put Oakland up by 2 in a massive match against a playoff team. He'll have to beat one of the best goalkeepers in league history to do it. Carlsson against Newton. It's Carlsson winning the battle. It's 2-0 Oakland. It's his 15th of the season.
Used to hate these types of penalties as a goalie. You can see he takes that jump up, a little bit of a hesitation. When he takes that little skip step, he's waiting for the goalie to make a move. And as a goalkeeper, it's so hard to hold your ground. You watch this run up, the little hesitation here. You think he's going to open up his hip. Newton moves at the last second, and when Carlsson sees him move, he turns his foot over and just puts it right down the middle. So challenging for a goalkeeper if a forward can do that well. Carlsson gets the timing just right. 2 on the night for him, and it's well deserved because, like I said, that penalty started when he checked out, drew the center backs with him. Unselfish play, lays the ball off. Oakland's up 2-0, and they got to be feeling good about where they're at.
And that is another $510 donation to Spectrum Community Services, brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Spectrum Community Services enhances the quality of life of over 10,000 seniors and low-income residents in Alameda County each year through their programs. Paso car battling Zacharias, taken by Formella. Hernandez keeps it alive. One area that has been an issue for the Roots this season, in games where they've taken leads, they've never really been able to get that next goal, get that insurance, get that breathing room. The only time it really happened was the 4-1 win against Loudoun earlier in the season. Played over the top for Formella, saved by Newton. He puts it out on the second effort, and it's 3 for the Roots.
If you're scoring goals, that's what you need to be doing to keep leads. Again, it's down this right side. This right side for Oakland, they are getting their money's worth down this right side. Crosses are coming in, and El Paso just does not seem to have an answer. Long ball from the keeper. They win the first one. He's off and running. Plenty of time again. Picks his head up. he just has too much time to pick out targets on crosses. Good first save by Newton. He's able to stay with it. But if you're El Paso, you cannot give him so much time on the ball to pick his head up and pick out his targets. You have free runners going in the box. That right side is just absolutely trouble for El Paso. I guess it would be down their left side, but Oakland's right side is causing absolute mayhem for El Paso. And again, he has to get pressure onto the cross. If you don't get pressure, if you let a player pick their heads up, pick out the target, you're going to be picking balls out of the back of your net, and that's what you're seeing tonight.
Another $510 donation to Spectrum Community Services, brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Spectrum Community Services enhances the quality of life of over 10,000 seniors and low-income residents in Alameda County each year through their programs, really helping out the locals tonight. $1,530 in 35 minutes.
It's a nice way to give back, fun way to give back.
Keep it going. Well, as I was saying, before the attack really took form, this team this season hasn't been able to do this. They had the 4-1 win against Loudoun on April 16th. Every other game they've played that they have won has been a one-goal victory until late on. Monterey Bay, they win 2-0. They score in stoppage time to make it 2. They never really had the breathing room until late. They beat Atlanta United 2 by a score of 3-1. Same thing. The insurance came in the last 10 minutes of the game. They've never really been able to jump on a team except for that Loudoun game. Tonight, they're doing it again, and it's against an unlikely opponent. We haven't seen El Paso sort of lay an egg like this in a while.
I think what you're seeing right now, too, which is great if you're the coach of Oakland, you're seeing the team is matching the moment. The energy has matched the moment. They're up 2-0. They're still going deep. They're still pressing. They're still playing it the way that they want to play. And they're ruthless right now in front of the net. They talked about all the missed chances from the 2 games before, but right now it's clinical in front of the net. And if you're El Paso right now, it's almost a situation where maybe you don't want to stretch yourself out as much as you normally would. Get yourself into halftime, try to regroup a little bit, because you did have dangerous chances. You've had dangerous chances on the set pieces. And it's going to take one goal at a time to try to claw back into this thing.
Now wide for Borelli. Where do you go from here if you're El Paso?
You know, in moments like this, it's just good to regroup a little bit. Of course, you want to try to get that goal. You want to try to press. You want to play your game. But at the same time, in this situation, the last thing you want to do is give up another one before half. If you could try to steal one, go into the locker room only down by 2, that's not a terrible spot to be in. They always say that 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in soccer. So if you could try to get one back here, then you'd be in a little bit of a better spot. But if I'm El Paso, I'm just not trying to get myself too stretched out right now. Oakland's kind of feeling it, and you don't want to give up a 4th one, because then it would be very, very, very challenging in the second half.
They had their struggles leaking goals early in the year. Those first few games, they gave up 3, 2, 5, and 3 in the first 4 games, all losses in that order. Since then, it hasn't been an issue on the defensive end for El Paso. There were a couple of games against Orange County and against Atlanta where they gave up 2 goals. But ever since the season really turned for them in early April, they have only twice given up more than 2 goals in a game. And here they've given up 3 in the first half an hour. Very, very different from what we've typically seen out of John Hutchinson and this group. Maybe you need to get a night like this out of your system to reset as you're going into the home stretch. You never want to have a night like this, but sometimes it could be a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes I've been on a couple good winning streaks in my day, and when you're playing well and you're getting results, sometimes you need a nice little reset, right? You might have a little bit of false confidence about the way you're playing because you're getting the results you want. But sometimes a good reset is the best thing for a locker room to kind of regroup and get resettled into the rhythm and make sure you're playing the way you want to. I don't think that tonight's necessarily been anything that El Paso has been doing poorly at. I think Oakland is just taking advantage of their moments, and they're getting the expected chances that we talked about before, except tonight they're just finishing them.
Playoff battles begin to heat up as 2 playoff hopefuls meet on ESPN Deportes. RGV welcomes Las Vegas Lights to Southern Texas, July 17th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN Deportes. Catch that one tomorrow. you know that El Paso's not going to dwell on this one. That's the one thing John Hutchinson was very confident in with this group. Whether they've been winning, tying, or losing, they've never really taken the time to look at the standings. They've focused on what is directly in front of them. It sounds cliche, it is cliche, but that's the way they've approached this season with so many new players, with the new staff. Little by little, they've rounded into form, and they know that when it comes time for August, September, they'll start taking more peeks at the standings to know where they're at. In the meantime, they're just going game by game, and it's worked for them, so why change it? But on a night like tonight, it's good to have that attitude because you don't want to get too low. Could it be 4 already? Yes! Everything going Oakland's way. An unlikely source, Jose Hernandez, gets on the score sheet. It's his first of the season.
Lazy passing in the back for El Paso, and this is exactly what they wanted to avoid. Don't put yourself in a hole that you can't get out of. Try to get to the halftime, but instead, lazy passing around the back. Oakland takes advantage. They have a great pressure on the ball. They want to get their pressure right. They talked about this before the game. Choosing their moments to press. They choose the right moment in this one. They turn the ball over, and it's a clinical finish by Jose Hernandez. And Oakland is off and running, and if you look at that El Paso bench, they look dejected, and you cannot blame them.
Do you have this committed to memory yet? That is a $510 donation to Spectrum Community Services, brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Spectrum Community Services enhances the quality of life of over 10,000 seniors and low-income residents in Alameda County each year through their programs. Now, the Roots have cycled through certain organizations for their gold donations this season, and
I think
Spectrum
this is the
Community
winner.
Services struck gold on this evening, already $2,040.
I think this might be the winner, though. They might need to stick with this one if they're a good luck charm.
I think some of the other organizations who have been featured this year are looking around and saying, why didn't we get July 16th?
That's great that the organization's doing that. They're definitely rolling in the money tonight.
The Roots have done a great job in just the 2 years they've been around in USL of giving back to the community, and it's for reasons like this.
Here's kind of what we're talking about, right? They get the pressure right, and the finish is clinical. Picks his head up, picks out a corner, absolutely smacks it top shelf. Lazy passing out of the back of El Paso, and that's the danger of playing this style. That's the danger of playing this style when you're playing a possession base and you don't care where you are on the field and you're passing like this. If you turn the ball over in a bad spot, it's going to cost you, and that's exactly what we saw there when Oakland got the pressure right.
Borelli went down holding his shoulder, and Rito of the Roots went down next to him and urgently waved over to the sideline. Right shoulder seemed to be in a lot of pain.
Shoulder injuries are no fun. I speak from way too much experience on that one. Let's hope he's all right.
John Hutchinson, stoic on the sideline, just gets up, pacing a little bit. At some point on a night like this, you just have to deal with it. I mean, there's no way around it. You're losing 4-0. You can't sugarcoat that. You know you have still a long way to go this season, just beyond the midway point. You have to quickly forget about it. You still have a half to play. I guess that's the tough part right now, that you have to go in, talk about this, and play 45 more minutes.
This is one of those games where if you're El Paso, if you're the coach, it's just one of those halves where you go into the locker room and it's just kind of, it is what it is. You know, obviously this isn't something that they wanted to be dealing with tonight. They knew that it was an important game against an opponent that's going to be chasing them in the standings. Even though they say they don't look at standings, I'm sure that they're a little bit aware that Oakland's behind them. And going into halftime at this, I've been in this situation a couple times. When you go into halftime like this, you just say, you know, let's go out there and win this half. Let's put our best foot forward. Let's try to play our game. Tonight might not be our night, but you know, you want to play your best soccer, and anytime you get the opportunity to step on the field, you should value that opportunity. And I think that you're going to see a spirited El Paso team in the second half, and they're going to try to play the game that they want to and continue to build off of what they've been doing in the games before this and just try to shake off that first half.
Some scores from around the league earlier tonight. Tampa Bay 4-1 over Loudoun. Charleston 3-1 over Hartford. A scoreless draw between Orange County and Miami. And a 2-1 win for Louisville over Memphis in a battle of first and second place in the Eastern Conference. Those were your games in the earlier windows that have already been completed. New Mexico and Pittsburgh are tied 1-1 with 5 minutes remaining. San Antonio up 4-0 on Atlanta. So this is not your only 4-0 scoreline at the moment. Almost made it 4-1 right there.
If you're Oakland, this is where you got to be careful. These types of situations, you have a 4-0 lead, you're feeling very comfortable about where you're at. But at the same time, you don't want to let a team like El Paso back in the game at all. You don't want to give them a chance to feel any type of positivity going into halftime. And just there, they got lucky that they didn't get caught too stretched out in that moment.
I take it back. This is now the only 4-0 scoreline. San Antonio just made it 5-0.
You jinxed them. You jinxed them.
Almost made it 4-1 right as I was saying it, and now San Antonio made it 5-0 over Atlanta. It's scoreless between Monterey Bay and Detroit, and then Sacramento kicks off later against Birmingham. That one coming up in about 10 minutes. Very full day of action in USL Championship. 3 minutes of added time. If you're El Paso, you probably want that halftime whistle blown already to just go ahead and make your adjustments. If you're Oakland, you wish there were more stoppage time. You don't want this to end right now. Janssen earns a corner.
I've said this a couple times before, but Oakland is having a great time going down this right side right now. A lot of dangerous chances. All the dangerous chances are coming from their right side.
Corner kick powered by East Bay Community Energy. Providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. Janssen to Clementa, snaps it down. I'll tell you what, if Emra Clementa would have gotten on the scoreboard here in the first half as well, it would have been his second of the year, a center back who doesn't get forward much, in a half where you already have 4 goals. And Hernandez had his first of the season. You wouldn't find a better half all year long for the Oakland Roots. Still, probably their best half of the season, but that would have been the cherry on top if Clementa got on the board as well.
He had a good look at it. You could tell that that's something that they saw on tape, that spot's going to be open, that El Paso was going to leave that guy on top of the box open like that. So he had a good look at it, just wasn't able to get the finishing touch.
El Paso have allowed 4 goals in their last 8 games combined, going back to May 27th, and they've allowed 4 in 45 minutes tonight. This is not Oakland beating up on a lower level team. This is one of the best teams in the Western Conference over the last 2 months, and one of the best teams in the Western Conference over the last couple of years. I believe that's Borelli down again, holding that same shoulder. Not a good sign.
Now if you're El Paso, this is, you want to make sure the guys are healthy. You want to keep guys healthy. This first half is against everything that they've been doing lately in terms of their level of play and the score lines that they've had. So if you're them, you want to get to the halftime. You want to be as healthy as possible. And sometimes things like this happen. Good teams go through moments, they go through halves, they go through games where things just are not going your way. And a lot of credit goes to Oakland for making this challenging first half for El Paso. They've been pressing at the right moments. They've been clinical in front of the net. They've been turning El Paso over and making life really challenging. And you can tell that this game is very important for Oakland. And the first half definitely matched that.
Well, it finishes 4-0 at the end of the first 45. We still have 45 remaining. Don't know that those 45 will really impact the outcome tonight, with Oakland up 4 goals, seemingly on the way to 3 points. Otaro Carlsson got the first 2. He has his 14th and 15th on the season, leading the Golden Boot race. Darek Formella got his first as a married man to make it 3-0. And then Jose Hernandez, the icing on the cake to make it 4-0 going into the half. Second meeting of the season between these teams. It was a 1-1 draw back in April. A much different story this time around in Oakland. We're back in just a moment with the end of halftime report. Oakland 4, El Paso nothing.
doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
I need to try it first.
It says Julie is waiting with my order. I'm just gonna go in.
We've got to work on the tracking. Oh, good luck.
Take the entire journey with your customer with user testing.
So, was the baguette fresh?
It was spicy.
And the ghost pepper rev?
Empty.
Keep ingredients separate? Here.
Get a taste of your customer's world with user testing.
Halftime brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. And the first half was brought to you by the entire Oakland Roots offense. This one is just about certainly in hand, so why not look ahead a little bit at the upcoming schedules for both of these clubs. For Oakland, this was night number 1 of 3 straight at home. They follow it up with 3 straight on the road. Very spread out in August. How do you bottle this one up and just use it on the 23rd and the 27th to make sure you pick up 9 from a possible 9 at home?
When we're talking about having 3 games that were very, very important for Oakland, there is nothing better than getting off to a start like this. Of course, they have to see out the second half. They want to keep that momentum going in the second half. But this is, in terms of the 3-game stretch, where the coach would not say it was must-win, but they're very important. There is nothing better than getting this type of start.
And their next opponent would be Las Vegas, a team they've already played this season. That game, much like El Paso, finished 1-1, with Oakland scoring first and Vegas tying it. El Paso went down 1-0 against Oakland, then tied 1-1. You see what the return leg looked like. I think Oakland would like to just copy and paste.
You can tell they took a lot of confidence from getting ties on the road. That was something that they really stressed. So now that they're getting the opportunity to play Vegas at home, they're hoping they can carry this momentum into the next game. And when you're able to get a result on the road, it gives you nothing but confidence when you're coming home and facing that same team.
With the current result, Oakland, the 3 points certainly in hand. They do slide ahead of Vegas in the standings, but Vegas does have 4 games in hand at the moment. So a very important one next week for Oakland against Vegas. Same goes for El Paso against San Antonio. That's a San Antonio team that's number 1 in the Western Conference. It's a San Antonio team that won 5-0 tonight against Atlanta. So coming off of a 4-0 at least scoreline, it seems like right now, you go against that team next. And for El Paso, you quickly have to forget about this one and move on to the next.
If you're El Paso, you just cannot dwell on this result, because although it's just one half, you want to come out in the second half and you want to put your best foot forward to try to get some momentum coming into these 2 big home games. You have 2 games at home in a row. You've been playing good soccer. That's the most important thing. You can't let one half dictate how the rest of the season's going to go. And the confidence that Hutchinson has in his group, I don't expect that to happen. They just have to do their best to put that first half behind them and put their best foot forward here in the next 45.
El Paso did lose 1-0 to San Antonio early in the season, but that is before they found their stride. So we still do have 45 minutes to go here, and we'll get to those in a moment as the Anthem halftime show continues.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm going to
Yo, roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
Tucked in, locked in, Louisville level. An exclamation point, and this boy can't stop scoring.
On cue, levels it for Louisville.
And it's all turning up goals. The audacity. Early fireworks in Wild Horse Pass.
If Damian Lillard accepted his spot at the end of the bench, he never would have been at the rec center before it opened. If he listened to those who overlooked him, he never would have heard his name called as a first-round pick. And if he let 6 all-star selections go to his head, he never would have had the heart to give back to the streets that shaped him. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
A reminder of the scoreline. I don't think El Paso wants to be reminded of it. All Oakland in that first half. They're up 4-0 as the end of halftime show continues. We step away for a moment to take a broader look around USL Championship with some news and notes. Expanding into California, Santa Barbara Sky FC launching in 2024 in USL League One. Initial impressions on the crest and the colors up there. I like it. I dig it. Big fan here. Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup continues in 11 days as I look down at the calendar. Sacramento hosting SKC, a chance to get through to the final as a lower division side to make some history. And we're getting some Cajun cooking involved. New Orleans intending to join USL Championship in short order as the league continues to expand. And we take a look at the current league before the expansion, some of the scores from around the league on the evening. Colorado Springs Switchbacks 4-2 yesterday over Galaxy, and the other big one as far as it pertains to the Western Conference is that San Antonio one, El Paso's next opponent. Don't know if you want to face a team coming off of a result like that, coming off of a result like this either if you're El Paso, but it is a big rivalry game.
Definitely two ends of the spectrum when you're looking at the results and who they're going to be playing next, but I bet El Paso's happy to be getting that game at home, but you know, with San Antonio coming in, playing off a 5-0 win, they're going to be buzzing and feeling very confident going into that little Texas Derby.
And we take a look at the upcoming schedule here in the league. We have an odd Monday game, Colorado Springs against San Diego, so don't miss that one. That should be a very fun one. Louisville against Phoenix in the Midsummer Showcase out there in Louisville. The general managers, owners going out there for the meetings. That one should be a lot of fun before we resume with the regularly scheduled programming the following weekend. And we'll take one last look at the standings before we get into the second half here. This is what the standings look like coming into the night. Oakland some climbing to do, and some climbing they will do, it seems, with this 4-0 lead. They play Vegas next week, so you'll be going into that with a lead, with an advantage, but still have to get a bit further into the season, closer to that playoff line. Plenty of climbing to do for the Roots, but they take the first step, it seems, tonight. Already up 4-0 on El Paso. We're back in a moment with half number 2.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
Driven by a purpose to build healthy communities where everyone deserves a shot at fulfilling their dreams. A place where inclusion, acceptance, and equal opportunity are the norm. A town where all people have access to nutritious food, healthy lifestyles, and quality healthcare. Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots are breaking down barriers to ensure people stay nourished of the mind, body, and soul, all while having every opportunity to succeed. We welcome Oakland Soul to the town. Together, we will make the East Bay better for everyone.
When we think about the benefits of East Bay Community Energy, we think about cleaner air, good jobs, lower costs.
Good morning, welcome everyone.
The Scott Haggerty Wind Energy Center gives us a tangible example of how clean energy can deliver local benefits.
There is something wonderful about being part of this historic moment.
We are delivering cleaner, greener, cheaper energy. It's an investment in our future.
You're sharing our vision of providing power for Alameda County residents.
Teams trickling back out onto the field as we're ready to begin half number 2 with Oakland up 4-0. Buckle up. It's time to look at the highlights from half number 1, brought to you by UCSF Health. It started early, and then the goals came often for Oakland.
Carlsson, the golden boot leader, getting on the end of this one, tucks it in near post. So great ball from the back from Jose Hernandez. Comes, gets this ball back from the center back. Out wide, a lot of time and space to pick his head up, picks out the runner, and if you're going to give the golden boot winner that much, or leader that much space, he's probably going to punish you, and that's exactly what happens. Tucks it in near post.
It's okay that you said winner instead of leader because he very well seems to be on his way. Now with 15, now it is 14, and then he gets the penalty a few moments later to make it 15. It was again down that right side. Rito in space drew the foul, and then Carlsson did the rest.
Yeah, Rito has been causing a lot of problems down that right side. Carlsson again does a great job checking back, drawing the center backs out. Finds Rito streaking down the side. He uses his pace, gets behind the back line, and if you're behind the back line, they're chasing. That's going to cause trouble. Carlsson with a very patient penalty kick. You see the hesitation here. Newton has to lean. It's hard as a goalie to hold your ground. Carlsson tucks it away and adds to his number.
He's got 45 more minutes to add to his own number. The Roots, again, did not take long to add to their number on the evening. They made it 3, then they made it 4, and it was different players getting in on the fun. Formella, he left the team 2 weeks ago to go get married. It was something that was on the schedule. He asked Juan Guerra, hey, can I miss this weekend for a wedding? Juan said, all right, fine, but whose wedding is it? Darek turns around and says, it's mine. So his first goal as a married man, the second effort from the ground.
It's a bold choice to plan your wedding during the middle of the season. Most of the soccer guys get married in December, but he rewards his coach for letting him get married during the middle of the season with a nice little goal, and again, it's down that right side.
I'll tell the full story as we get into the second half. There's more to it, and then Hernandez, more to the scoreline in the first half as he makes it 4.
Good time pressure by Hernandez. Good time pressure all around that first half by Oakland, picking their moments to press when El Paso wants to play out of the back. He reads that one well, a little bit of a lazy pass, and he leaves absolutely no doubt with this finish. Top corner, knuckling ball, perfect shot.
We harped on it a lot in the first half that the team who won the possession battle may very well go on to win this game. Both coaches said the same thing in our chats with them ahead of this match. Hasn't really gone that way. It's 60-40 in El Paso's favor, but the chances and the conversion have gone the Roots' way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see El Paso win this possession battle, especially with this score line. They're probably going to be sitting on the ball. I would imagine that Oakland is pretty comfortable giving El Paso the ball in this type of situation so they don't expose themselves. But we'll see what the second half has in store. I know El Paso is a very good team with a lot of pride. You can tell that when you're talking to Coach Hutchinson, so I fully expect them to come out and try their best to win this second half.
One change to get to you on the Oakland side as they go from left to right in the black, with El Paso from right to left in the baby blue. And we're underway in half number 2. Oakland 4 in rapid succession in that first half. Memo Diaz into the match for Mikkel Janssen. Brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Visit ebce.org to find out more. All right, so before he catches any more heat from you for planning his wedding during the season, Darek Formella, he didn't necessarily intend to sign once again in USL. He's got a rich history in the league, but it seemed like he was going to be going back home to Europe. So they planned the wedding for the summer when it would be the off-season if he was over there. All of a sudden the phone rings, it's Juan Guerra. Oakland has an opening. They seem to agree that this is the right fit. Again, a quick chance. Carlsson! Newton the stop, denying the hat trick. El Paso just playing it around the back, giving it away again.
There was a great save there by Newton. A little bit of a lazy pass here. Oakland is getting their pressure right. You can tell that this is something they worked on in film. Oakland gets the pressure right. Newton comes out, makes himself big, denies Carlsson of the hat trick. And this is not the start of the half that El Paso is looking for. You want to come out, you want to get the momentum back a little bit in your favor. Newton does a good job of getting himself big, being quick off of his line, but you'd like to see a better pass out of the back. You can't be careless with the ball back there.
Oakland not big fans of story time tonight. Formella made the call to Juan Guerra. Talked about the fact that he had this wedding. And Juan, after the fact, just was left wondering, what would you have done if I said no? Were you going to leave your wife at the altar to get married on a Zoom call with you? But it all worked out in the end. And now Formella gets back on the score sheet after his trip over the pond to get married.
That's nice of Gary. You know, a lot of coaches could take that the other way. I would like to think the guys would let their players go get married, but I'm glad I got the backstory, because most of my ex-teammates, most of the people I've ever played with, you always see a December wedding. There are so many anniversaries during December for soccer players.
Back out to Formella. He goes down a bit easily. And it did take a deflection, according to Lorenzo Hernandez, out for a corner. Corner powered by East Bay Community Energy, providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. We're caught up in the, I guess we'll call it a flop. It wasn't really much there. Didn't pick up on the deflection, but an early set piece opportunity in the second half for Oakland.
Again, that opportunity started with Carlsson checking all the way back. When Carlsson checks back, El Paso is so tight to him that it draws the center back out and creates a lot of space.
Evan Newton dealing with the remnants of the sun. It won't last long. About midway through this half, we'll be in total darkness. Still peering through the shadows in the sun as the corner's whipped in. Can't get it by that first man. Has to be better from Hernandez, but on a night like this, you can't get too mad about the little things like that if you're Oakland. Maris just brings it out for Gomez, and is canceled out by Fasore. Plenty of time to figure things out in this one as far as the personnel and the decisions to be made for John Hutchinson, but this may turn out to be a night to give Edison Azcona his debut. We talked a bit about their new acquisition on loan from Inter Miami. In a perfect world, he would come in tonight for about 30 minutes, is what we were told, to get his footing in the team, start to find a new level of comfort. In a low-stress situation like this with a scoreline out of hand, might be the perfect opportunity tonight to christen him in the El Paso Baby Blue.
It's definitely a good opportunity to get somebody into the flow of things, right? You want to see what he could do. You want to come in and see if he can make a difference, maybe bring some energy to the group. Gives him a good opportunity to establish himself within the group. And like I said, you want to win this half. If you're El Paso, the stress of winning this half is everything, because you want to go into the next game with a little bit of momentum. And if you could bring on a sub that is going to make an impact on your team, it's a good time to do that.
Hines just brings it back. Just out of sync, it seems like El Paso, whenever they're trying to play their game on the back end. Some errant passes, some nonchalant passes that have been intercepted. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to play the way they typically do, and it's worked out. They've been unbeaten in the last 10. This is a better build-up, and it lacked the finishing touch.
They did a good job there, combination play, and Oakland was a little bit stretched. If they were able to get the ball one more over, they would have had a great opportunity on goal.
You mentioned it as we began the second half. If you're El Paso, you want to just find something positive here. Start creating some chances. Maybe you get one here. on the set piece, but they only have one shot on target all evening long.
You know, as much as we're talking about El Paso's passing, I also think a lot of it has to do with Oakland. The timing of their pressure, we talked about this with Coach Guerra. The timing of their pressure has been spot on, and they've chosen their moments real wisely. So anytime that they see a little bit of a lazy pass, they're jumping all over it, and they're putting El Paso under pressure immediately. When a team wants to keep the ball the way that El Paso does, the timing of your pressure is so important. Oakland has been doing a great job. No shadows in the second half, so I think I nailed that,
Here you go.
that goal prediction, on which side I would be on in the first half.
And the sun's still lingering and causing an issue on the other end for Newton, so I would imagine Oakland won the toss because it put El Paso at a disadvantage in both halves.
You know, we gotta look up this. We gotta look that up. We gotta see if they won the toss, because then they definitely know something that we didn't.
Well, for anybody and then tuning in and taking notes, future opponents for Oakland, if you win the toss, pick the other end.
We'll give you that tip for free. We just gave you that one for free.
Paso car up the right side with Rito. We mentioned it in the first half. These two have played on the same side the last couple of games, and they are again here. That substitution made at the half with Memo Diaz coming in for Mikkel Janssen makes this look the same way it did at the end of the game against LA, at the beginning of the game against Sacramento. It's something that Juan Guerra is toying with. He likes the look. He likes all three of those players finding a way to get them on the field at the same time. It's a deep team. He wants to get the best players out there at all times, even if it means moving some of the pieces on the chessboard. Great ball to the backside. Formella almost made it 2, but the flag was up.
Even though he was offsides, he's just so wide open on the far post that if you're Evan Newton, you got to be wondering, where are you guys? To get that type of open look, to get those free crosses off. I talked about it in the first half, they're having so much, Oakland's having so much success come down El Paso's left side. If you're El Paso's outside backs, you have to get pressure onto these crossers, or else you're going to pick their head up and find the open man. And it's going to be easy tap-ins, kind of the way that we saw the entire first half. They have to make some sort of adjustment to eliminate what Oakland's doing down this right side, because they are causing absolute chaos down there.
You feel for Evan Newton on a night like this, the all-time league leader in shutouts with 58 and saves with 534 coming into the night. Well, needless to say, he's not getting another clean sheet tonight, but he's been under fire a lot. He's made a couple of big saves. Otherwise, his scoreline would be even more lopsided, just not getting the help from the players in front of him.
Yeah, this game is tough for goalies. I've been here a few times, and you know, not many people. I think that maybe the parents or the wives, those are the only people that really feel bad for goalies besides the people in the goalie union. So I've been here a few times, but he's a really solid goalie, great guy, and I know he'll bounce back from this.
Very lonely out there on a night like this.
It can be, yes.
All
absolutely.
eyes are on you. And they might be coming yet again.
He's done a good job, though. He had a big save to start the second half to kind of make up for a pass. And then I think it was on the third goal that he had another good save. And sometimes you just get unlucky where the rebounds end up. But he had a good reaction save to start it. And unfortunately, there wasn't anybody there to help him clear it out.
Formella offside again. Formella on the season, just 2 goals coming into the night. There's another tonight. A player who's been in and out of the lineup at times for Oakland. He's played in nearly every game. Only missed the one when he went to go get married, but hadn't started all of the games, sometimes coming off the bench. Maybe they expected more in terms of the overall goal-scoring output. He had 7 last season with Sacramento. And over the last 3 years with Republic, had 17 goals in 54 games. So not quite scoring at the same clip. Maybe now a new man, but he's got 3. And he probably should have had one last week. Juan Guerra pointed to a moment when they were up 3-2. And Formella had a breakaway late in the game. He could have put it away, made it 4-2, taken the 3 points. Turns out to be 3-3, and it goes the other way on them. So he created a chance last week. He's getting into those areas. He finds a goal tonight. A couple of times he tiptoed the line where he was offside instead of having a goal-scoring opportunity. You see the positive play, though, from Formella.
And now he's a married man, so, you know, he puts the ball in the back of the net, carries this momentum from the wedding. and things are looking up. So he's on a good spot right now.
Diaz down in the corner. Morning Gomez. Just not much going El Paso's way right now in the attacking third. Still just a one shot on target. They are missing Solinak. He's got 7 goals on the season, serving the red card suspension. It helps to have your leading scorer out of the mix on a given night. Still plenty of capable bodies out there, but the way this game is just avalanched against them, not much to do about it.
You can tell El Paso's just a little bit off in their passing tonight, and I've said this before, but when you play this style of play, you know, possession of the ball is so important, and if your passing's off just a little bit and the pressure is right, you're going to get punished, and that's what you're seeing tonight. But the ideas are right, the vision's there. Some nights are just not your night, and that's kind of what we're seeing out of El Paso.
Formella tucks it back for Diaz. Pressure closing in now from El Paso. Gomez nearly got to it, and now Calvillo does. Here's Maris. Maris lines it up. Unable to get it through Clementa. And Rito has some space.
Good pressure there by El Paso.
Sokar whirls through 2 defenders, being harassed from behind. Azokar still with it. Muscled off by Hines, and now commits the foul. You wonder if he went down with that first contact, if there was going to be a point to the spot. You never want to see a player go down easily, but had he gone down, he might have won the call.
Man, he took the words right out of my mouth. I don't think it would have been going down easily. I mean, I think it's a foul here. He does a good job keeping it balanced, staying up. But if you feel a pull like that on your arm inside the box, I think you got to hit the turf. But he does a good job fighting, does a good job battling. There's 3 or 4 guys there. But if you're a young forward out there, if you feel an arm pull in the box, hit the turf, see what the ref does. You're probably better off doing that than trying to do it all yourself 4v1. But a great individual effort there anyway.
That's easy to say if you're the goalie 110 yards away from it. If you're the goalie who's 12 yards away from it in Evan Newton, you don't want to give that advice to go down when you feel the contact.
If you're Evan Newton in that situation, you see the arm pull and you just think to yourself, oh, please don't fall down.
All the way back for Paul Blanchette. We haven't really said his name tonight. Only 1 shot on target. Another one that rattled the crossbar. It's always an interesting catch-22 as a goalie. You never really want to have to do anything. If you don't have to do anything, it means your team is having a great night in front of you.
Sometimes as goalies, these are the hardest games to play because you're excited that your team's doing really well, but you want to be involved. So these are the types of game where if you're Oakland, maybe get the ball, do your goalie a solid, get him a couple touches with his feet so he stays involved in the game. But of course, you're never exactly there. You go. You're never gonna be upset about your team winning 4-0.
And that's an aspect that Paul Blanchette has really added to his game this season. Oakland last year wasn't necessarily a team that liked to play around the back and build through the back. Goalkeeper's very much a part of the build out this year. He had to add that to his game, and he has in a big way.
It's something with the goalkeeper position that's evolved so much over the last few years. The goalkeepers now, they have to be good with their feet. They have to be able to maintain possession. They have to be able to find the open players. And there's a lot of coaches now that their attacks start with the goalkeeper. So the days of just kind of booting the ball forward and trying to find your target forward, if you're a goalie now, those days are gone. So if you're a goalkeeper in the league, or if you're a goalkeeper who, you know, is trying to adapt to that style of play, it's something that I stress for all young goalkeepers. You have to be good with your feet now. And it's something that I learned in my career too, that, you know, once a coach comes in that wants you to play out of the back, you better get good, and you better get good fast, because there's a lot of goalies out there that are good with their feet. And it's a lot of credit to guys that are able to adapt on the fly like he has.
Well, here it is, the El Paso debut of Edison Azcona. 18-year-old midfielder from the Dominican Republic, just led the U20s to the Olympics. A surprise run in the CONCACAF U20 Championship, a Dominican Republic team that came through an earlier round of qualifying. Along the way, they slayed some beasts, fell to the United States in the title game, but they qualified for next year's World Cup. and the 2024 Paris Olympics, as Kona a big reason, now on loan from Inter Miami.
Good opportunity to see what he could do. You know, zero pressure, like you said. Great opportunity to get him in the mix. They wanted to get him 30 minutes, and that's exactly what he's about to get.
From the corner, dealt with well by Oakland. Right back out where it came from. Maris lays it off. Now Calvillo. Chipped over the top, back to Maris, takes it down, has a chance, it's blocked by a sliding Juan Alsocar. And now the whistle stops the play. It's coming the other way now for Oakland. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN Plus, the home of USL, MLS, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com.
That was a great little ball in over the top by El Paso there. Good time run by Maris too. Backline step in, little dink over the top, creates a difficult situation. Good time to run. And if you're El Paso, those are the types of things you want to see. Still trying to create chances, still trying to play your game, even though the scoreline is 4-0.
Formella looking for Carlsson, still sitting on a hat trick.
Get the keeper some touches. There it is. Get him involved.
Spoke too soon. He could pin that one on you. Beyond the hour mark now at Laney College in Oakland, California. Alongside Jeff Antonello, Joe Malfa with you tonight on ESPN Plus. The second half has really been simple. It's been straightforward because the first half saw Oakland go up 4-0, and both teams have really been in cruise control for the first 20 or so minutes of this second half. It was Carlsson in the 21st and the 32nd, Dark Formella in the 34th, and Jose Hernandez in the 40th.
El Paso lucky again there. If you're going to be passing the ball around the back, it has to be sharp and it has to be clinical. With Oakland pressing the way that they are, you're going to give yourself a lot of trouble if you're not clinical and sharp with the ball around your back.
And Roots SC welcomes their women's team, Oakland Soul. The USLW League team now accepting membership deposits. Place your deposit at oaklandsoulsc.com. Rito with it up the right side, plays the early ball in, hoping for Carlsson. Hernandez plays it back centrally. A mishit shot. Might have taken a deflection, and it's out for a corner. A mental test this last half an hour or so for both teams. Can you stay locked in? Can you stay engaged? It's still 25 more minutes to improve some of the little things that can take you from a playoff team to a title contender, or from a team below the playoff line, in Oakland's case, into a team that finds a way above that line. Every minute counts.
In this situation, if you're Oakland, you want to get the shutout. You want to keep the 0 on the board. I think that that's something really important, especially if you're talking about a team that's had a hard time, whether it's closing out games or getting wins. Keeping that shutout on the board is really important. And if you're El Paso, you want to keep them at 4. And you want to put Oakland under as much pressure as possible. And like I said, it's very important that they win that half for that momentum.
Charlie Dennis getting ready to check in for the Roots. Hernandez tracking it. Newton gets there first. Hines. Some touches on the ball now for Azcona. We asked John Hutchinson what his role would be on this team. Well, you lose a U20 in Diego Luna with the United States on the transfer to RSL early summer. You bring in Azcona now, and Hutchinson believes it's like for like. He sees the role very similar here for Azcona. They tailor the system a little bit to fit the playing style of Diego Luna coming into this season, and they really feel like Azcona fits the same mold. Hutchinson, a relationship with Inter Miami's sporting director Chris Henderson from their time in, I will say it, don't punch me, Seattle Sounders. And now they use that relationship here to find Azcona some playing time in a system that really fits his skill set. The Portland Timbers in you is ready to come out. I can feel it. Rito finds a way through on the ground, still looking to make something happen.
That's right. I don't hold prior relationships. I don't hold prior relationships against people. Much better job though, right on that right side. They got pressure onto the ball and they eliminated any dangerous chances right away.
Here's Francois. Azcona calling for it right next to him. Francois still with it. Had it caught up between his feet for a moment. Now it's Calvillo and Maris. Maris slips it through, open for Gomez. And here comes Charlie Dennis. It'll be for Matias Visore, brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Visit ebce.org to find out more.
It's great when loan situations are able to work out like that, though, because you have a young player who needs to get professional games, needs to get minutes under his belt. And then if you're El Paso, you have a player coming in. If you set up your system around a player that has gone on to another team, but you're able to bring somebody in that plays a similar style, he wants to get games, he wants to get minutes. That's the way that these relationships should work. It's about getting guys games and opportunities, and also trying to make the teams better.
Maris slips it through for Azcona. Zacharias over to Francois. Better the last few minutes for El Paso. Some sustained attacking pressure still, though. Only one shot on target in the match. Guerra is as candid as they come in terms of the coaches in this league and the chats we get to have with them ahead of these matches. We asked him a very blunt question, and he gave us a very matter-of-fact answer. The question was, is this it for Oakland this season? Are they going to continue to be a team that is close, but has games that should be wins turn into draws, or games that should be draws turn into losses? Having played 21 games already, only with a dozen to go after tonight, is this it? Is there another gear? Is there a ceiling they can shatter? Or is this it for the Oakland Roots? He acknowledged why it would seem that way. The results speak for themselves, but it's a team that he felt has another gear, and they've kicked it into that extra gear tonight as Diaz tries to create a fifth. And if they can keep it in this gear now over the next few weeks, that is what can make them a playoff team.
When I asked him, just talking about the locker room dynamic, right? When you're going through stretches like that, when you're playing really good soccer and the results aren't coming, the locker room can go one of two ways, right? They can hang their heads, they can get dejected, and it can be kind of that mentality of, oh, I guess this is just kind of the way that the year is going to go. But there's also the other way that it can go, where the players are believing in what the coach is saying. If the players are believing that the results, that the team is playing well, that they're playing the way that they want to play, and that the results just aren't falling the right way. And he was very confident in his answer that he believed the team really believed in what they were doing, that they were still together, and that they were ready to make this push. And you're seeing the performance tonight. Everything that he is saying, I believe in it now, because what you're seeing from Oakland is a team that they understand the situation, they believe in their style of play, and tonight, unlike nights before, they were clinical in front of the net. And sometimes that's all it takes to swing a season, to swing a moment. And you can tell that they believe in their coach, they believe in their system, and you can clearly see that they're playing with confidence. And a result like this is the type of thing you need, like we talked about, going into that 3-game stretch. This is exactly what they needed to build momentum going into the final push of their season. And when we talked about where they're at in the standings, unlike Coach Hutchinson, Coach Guerrero was very, very firm in knowing where they stood in the standings and what they needed to do to get the results to make the playoffs. And this is the exact type of result that you're looking for if you're talking about a team that hasn't been able to pull the results out, but is believing in the way that they're playing.
Performances have absolutely been there, but on so many occasions they've turned into draws. We highlighted it early in the broadcast. This team has 10 ties. Nobody else in the league has more than 7, and only a couple of teams do have 7.
he said what most coaches say, if you're tying a lot of games, they would split the ties. They would trade half the ties for losses and the other half for wins. So
Dennis, the corner. Carlsson flicks it wide. And just do the quick math. 10 ties, 5 losses, 5 wins. You're adding 5 points to your total. Instead of 10 points, it's 15 points. And you add those 5 points to Oakland's tally. Right now, it's a team that's sitting on 33 points, which, oh, by the way, is the same number of points El Paso has right there in the thick of things in the playoff race. So it's a team that has performed well, and for one reason or another, sometimes bad luck, sometimes mistakes, which Wangera will admit. 3 points have become 1. Against Vegas, when they met earlier in the season, it was a mistake. They fell asleep on a set piece, tie 1-1. Against El Paso early in the season, I didn't mention Vegas because that's their opponent next week, Oakland. But against El Paso early in the season, they go up 1-0. They have a clearance attempt from Barbier, ricochet off Solinak's face, and go into the net to make it 1-1. Bad luck. Sometimes they just haven't had things go their way this season, even though the performances have been there.
I mean, he'll be nothing but happy with this one. This is a very complete performance. You see when El Paso is trying to put out of the back, the pressure is strong. They're in the right spots all the time. And it's just been a very complete performance from Oakland.
As Kona takes it wide. Alan Rito muscles him off and draws the free kick. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Next week, I believe Devin and Mike are live on location in Louisville. Head over to either of their Twitter pages for all the info you need on that one. I hear Devin is buying the first couple of rounds of drinks. And if you go up to him and say that, don't say that I mentioned it. As Kona gives it away to Clementa. They're able to play out of it, but here is your introduction to USL Championship. Going up against a grizzled veteran center back who's won a title in this league and wears the captain's armband. And you're giving up a lot of size in that Ascona as well in your own 18. And now the question is he okay? He's still on the ground back there.
And this is exactly what you don't want if you're El Paso. You want to keep your guys healthy in a game like this. Again, El Paso tries to build up out of the back. They've been doing the same thing on goal kicks. Spreading the center backs out, dropping that center midfielder in to come and receive the ball and try to switch the field of play. But Oakland's just been all over it. Their pressure's been spot on. The passing around the back for El Paso has not been clean tonight. And these are the types of things you see when those things add up.
Right ankle, it seemed like, for Ascona. Just a late step there from Clementa. Rolled it weird, but he's walking it off, and it looks like he'll just head right back to the halfway line and wait until he's way back on.
I've been in these situations before if you're El Paso, and this is one of those games where you're looking up at the clock and you just cannot believe how slow time is moving.
On the root side, again, you want this to slow down, bask in it, enjoy it, but you've got plenty coming up on the horizon as well. Get your 5-game mini plan starting at just $90, or your FAM 4-packs available at $80 for 4 tickets and 4 drinks. Call 510-488-1144, or you can visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more information.
I've been really impressed with Rito tonight, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, he's eliminating a lot of options down that left side for El Paso. And I've talked about what he's been doing offensively, but he's been a back and forth player this entire game, and I think he's made a huge difference on the night.
Sent his way again. Rito inside. Carlsson leaping with Newton. Always a nice advantage for the goalkeepers that you can extend those arms up and just pluck it out of the air.
Yeah, it's a nice added perk.
Couple of changes on the way here for Oakland. That'll be it for Darek Formella. Should be Enriquez into the fray. Otar Carlsson will head over to the bench for Johnny Rodriguez, and he should get quite the ovation. Another 2 goals tonight for Carlsson, leading the Golden Boot race with 15. And you talk about the U20 on the other side in Azcona. We're going to see one on the root side as well. Javier Mariona of El Salvador. He made an impact in that U20 championship earlier in the summer, a couple of weeks ago. And he comes into the match as well. All changes tonight brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Visit ebce.org to find out more.
Real special night from Carlsson. I think that outside of the goals, you saw a lot of differences he's making with his runs. I talked about how he's checking back, receiving the ball, drawing the center backs out. But you also look back on that, I'm pretty sure it was the 4th goal. You look back at that 4th goal, he makes a run to the near post, which draws the center back with him. It creates so much space and time on the far post for the easy tap in. When you have a forward that's making unselfish runs and a guy that can also produce and put the ball in the back of the net, that's exactly what you want out of your 9, and that's the type of guy that can make such a big impact on your team. Great night from Carlsson.
Mariona up top pressuring now. He scored a couple of goals for El Salvador in that U20 tournament. Corner on the way for El Paso. It seems minuscule, but even if you can just pull one back in a game like this, and like you said earlier in the match, you win the second half 1-0, even if it's a 4-1 final, but you win the second half 1-0. It's huge psychologically.
In games like this, you want to have something that you can kind of hang your hat on when you're getting on the plane and headed back home. I guarantee that leaving that locker room in the second half, the conversation was, let's go out and win this half. Let's go win the half. Let's go put our best foot forward. And if you're able to win the half, and if that's your mentality going in at halftime, coming out of the second half, then you take it as a win. You take it as momentum. You understand that this game, it is what it is. But if you're able, in a situation like this, if you're able to put your best foot forward and come out with some type of positive, that goes a long way in terms of morale building into the next week. I really do think for El Paso, though, that they're going to be able to shake this one off because they had been playing so strong, and sometimes nights like this go this way. And it's not all that El Paso has been playing poorly, but it's Oakland as well. Oakland's pressure has been spot on. They've punished them in front of net, and sometimes this is just how the game goes.
Some changes here on the El Paso side. Coutinho, Maldonado in. Maris gives way. And Gomez as well. So it's a night to empty the bench a little bit and get some valuable minutes for a lot of the youth. Mariona on the Oakland side as Kona gets his first taste for El Paso. Joel Maldonado, one of the Bright Academy products here for El Paso, into the mix.
It's a good switch of play right there.
And Coutinho as well, for that matter. So you get 2 Academy prospects in there for El Paso as Kona makes his debut. Mariona on the other side for Oakland. It goes back to what we talked about a bit earlier. Just because this game has been done since early first half doesn't mean it is done. You still have time on the clock. You still have a chance for some of these players to get those important minutes.
Anytime a player gets a chance to make a debut, no matter what the situation is, it's an exciting time for a young player. So congratulations to guys that are making their professional debuts tonight. That's a big moment.
See if Mariona and Azcona interact at all in this match. More on that in a second. Here is Mariona, and he lost it. El Salvador is one of the favorites going into that U20 tournament beyond the United States and Mexico. They were upset in the round of this Sunday Go to USLWleague.com for more information on how to watch and follow all the drama. This is not something Oakland has really been able to do this year, and that's breathe easy. Whether they've been on the winning end or the losing end or the 10 ties they've had, everything has been close. They had the 4-1 win over Loudoun. That one was in hand. They had the 2-0 win over Monterey Bay, but that wasn't one they could breathe easy. They scored the second in the last minute of stoppage time for some very late insurance. Against Atlanta, they win 3-1. But again, the goals to add the insurance came a little bit late. They lost 3-0 against Colorado Springs, so that one was well in hand the other way. Outside of that, everything has been right there until the last second. Dennis whips it in.
Have to imagine it's nice on that Oakland sideline. I know Juan Garrett said that he likes to watch the games back immediately after the game. So I hope you're enjoying this one with a nice little glass of wine or something, and able to kind of relax a little bit after this result.
You went through this in your career. The day after a game, you go back and roll on the tape. It's always got to be nice to know you're turning on a potentially 4-0 victory instead of the exact opposite, as El Paso makes one more change here. Miles Lyons will make his debut. His signing was just announced today from the Barca Residency Academy.
I was always a night of the game.
Right away, no time at all to let it cool off.
Especially if you're at home, no time to let it cool off.
Okay.
You want to watch it back, and if it's a bad one, you want to watch it back right away and get out of your system. But if it was a good one, you'd watch it back the night of, and then you'd probably watch it back a couple more times in the beginning of the week just to kind of keep those good vibes going. But no, for me it was immediate. You go look at the goals you gave up, you go look at your moments, you go look at the key points in the game, and then you try to close the book and move on to the next one. But like I said, if it was a good game, you might want to watch it a couple more times to get those good feelings going.
That Miles Lyons substitution is significant. It was just announced in the last couple of days that he had signed with El Paso from the Barca Residency Academy, where they've already had some success with Diego Luna. Here's Sanupe. Miles was in the preseason for El Paso after an invite that was extended to him when they played a friendly against the Barca Academy. John Hutchinson and crew liked what they saw, knew this day maybe would come. I trade an outside back. Into the path of Enriquez. Battling Hines, and Nick Hines wins that battle.
For Coach Hutchinson, this is a good opportunity to see what some guys can do, get some new faces out there, see how they can contribute, see where they fit in.
Rito on the ground.
I know Carlson's going to end up being probably our man of the match, but Rito has made such a difference in this game.
It's been the MO all season for Oakland, whether it's Asokar down the left side or Rito on the right side. You go ahead and you let those wingbacks do their thing, and they've done a really strong job of it all season long. Charlie Dennis picks up a yellow here in the dying embers of this one, but Rito coming into the day, 4 goals, 5 assists as the right wing back. Juan Carlos Asokar, 6 goals, 1 assist as the left wing back. Anytime you have your wing backs combining for 10 goals and 6 assists in a season that is still a dozen games away from ending, you're doing something right in your scouting department and in your system when your outside backs put up those numbers.
Yeah, you're going to be really happy with those types of results coming out of outside backs. But for me, it's his work rate up and down the field as well. He did a good job defensively in this game. Eliminated a lot of dangerous chances, and then when the ball turned over, he was bombing down that sideline, creating something on the offensive end. Let's see if El Paso can do something to get one back here in the last 5. Their pressure's been a little bit better. Their possession's been a little bit cleaner. Some of the new faces have been coming on and settling down the game a little bit. See if they can get one to win the half.
That's calling up. Surge through. just hasn't really been easy for them offensively tonight. Part of it may be just mentally checking out a little bit after the scoreline reached 4, but just one shot on target all evening long. Expected goals, not an exact science. It's 0.21 tonight for El Paso. A bit less than ideal.
Yeah, they just really haven't been able to create much at all. I think that, you know, we stress about it a little bit, but I think that Oakland's pressure has really thrown them off their game a little bit. And, you know, like we say, scoreline, you know, if you're not clean with the ball, the scoreline's going to dictate how the night's going to go. And Oakland's been punishing them in front of the net, and that's what we've been seeing.
Different coaches maybe approach things different ways, but in your time, you lose a game like this. What's typically the reaction from the coaches in the following week? Is training status quo? Do you have to change anything in the intensity? How does that all work?
I think the situation that El Paso's in, and I've been in this situation a couple times before, you're playing good soccer, you're in a good run of form, and now this unbeaten streak is coming to an end. It came to an end in a way that they didn't play the way that they wanted to play tonight. It wasn't like they lost a close game. It wasn't like they lost a nail-biter. And if you're happy, you talk to Coach Hutchison, we talked to Coach Hutchison. If you're happy with how your team's playing, I think that everybody is going to acknowledge that tonight was not a good result, that you cannot put out a performance like this in a big game. But at the same time, if you're happy with the way your team's playing and the style of play, and you think that everybody's comfortable, for me it's a situation where it's one of those, you throw away the tape, you forget about this game, you move ahead, you look forward to the next one right away. You talk about key moments. There are a few key moments in each thing that, you know, if we would have made this pass better, or if this person would have popped up into a better spot, little tactical differences that would have made a difference in the game, or little tactical differences that you'd like to see out of your players going forward. But this isn't a game that you stress on too much, because there are a lot of games left, and everybody knows that you're playing poorly, right? Everybody knows that this game didn't go well. But if you're happy with how the team is overall, then you close the book, you move forward to the next one, and they know that they have a huge home game coming up next. So if it's me, if I'm the coach, I'm going in there and I'm saying, hey, guys, wipe my hands of it, moving on to the next one. Let's get back to the way that we were playing. Let's be clean at home, and let's make sure that we get a result the next week. Because the worst thing you want to do is have one bad result lead to 2 and then lead to 3. So it's important that they're able to swing it back right away.
If you're a team that was winless through 10 matches, maybe there's a few extra sprints, maybe there's a few choice words from your coaches, but a team that has been 10 unbeaten over the last couple of months, to your point, just forget it, move on, keep doing what you're doing. Do they find a positive here at the end? They won't get the shot off, and that's their night in a nutshell as we enter the 90th minute of play.
Yeah, if you've lost 10, if you're winless in 10 straight, and then this is a result, I think it's a completely different conversation. But like I said, you know, it's hard to not lose games throughout the course of a season. And if you're in this situation, if you're El Paso, I really think it's just a situation where you close the book on it, you move on, and you look forward to next week and getting back on the right foot.
Paso coming into the night, like we mentioned, unbeaten through 10 overall. In their last 15, only 1 loss. And that's a run that actually began with a draw against Oakland all the way back on April 23rd. Prior to that, it's a team that had lost 5 games and won just 1. They had that draw against Oakland. Ever since then, only 1 loss in 15. The 5th one not in the cards there for Charlie Dennis. 2 minutes of added time on the end of this one. Why not?
I've had a few games in my career where the refs around me and there's added stoppage time and we're losing by a decent amount of goals, and I just look up and I'm like, why? Why? What's the need for these 2 minutes? Can you please tell me?
They'll be played nonetheless, and 90 seconds remaining before Oakland officially puts 3 extra points in the book. As it stands in the live table, they'll still be below that playoff line. It would only be 1 point back of Sacramento, but Sacramento 4 games in hand. So you're looking a bit further up the table at a team like LA. LA only 1 game in hand on Oakland. And they are 2 points better than the Roots. So that's really your target right now. Kona picked up a yellow.
And flipping it the other side, if you're Oakland, I think it's kind of a similar discussion in that you're very excited about the result, but if you're happy with the way you've been playing and you know what's ahead of you in their must-win games, or Coach wouldn't come as far as saying they're must-win games, but they're very important games coming up. I think that you're happy with this result, but again, you're not dwelling on it, you're not getting overconfident, and you understand the task at hand. Of course, they're going to be happy headed back in the locker room. It'll be a good week of practice. Momentum will be good. They'll be in good spirits, but at the same time, they have to understand that their work isn't even close to done, and this is just step one of trying to hunt down a playoff spot.
Maybe one last chance for El Paso. Only one shot on target tonight, and that's how it's going to finish. Oakland 4, El Paso nothing. For the first time since May 14th, El Paso on the losing end of a match. 5 wins, 5 draws since then, but the Oakland Roots jump on them early and jump on them often tonight with 4 first-half goals to secure the 3 points.
Yeah, great result for Oakland. It's exactly what they were looking to do. For El Paso, like we talked about, I think this is one that you burn the tape, you throw it in the trash can, and you move on to next week and hope for a better result at home.
Man of the match presented by AL Industries. The 2022 Town Beer Collab is now available in select stores and on tap at AL's Industries. No surprise, it is Otar Carlsson, 2 goals tonight, 15 on the season, your Golden Boot leader. Jeff, at one point you called him the Golden Boot winner, a slip of the tongue, but maybe a sign of things to come, because he is in that kind of form right now, and the fans love every bit of it here at Laney.
Yeah, I was on the Rowdies call earlier. There's a couple guys over there that might be chasing him down, but I loved what I saw out of Carlsson tonight. He was clinical in front of the net, and what impressed me even more was just the way he was able to create space for his teammates. And when, as a forward, as a 9, if you're able to create that type of space, that's only going to help you in the long run, because you're going to find the ball in good spots. And I was very impressed by him. And if he does win the Golden Boot, I definitely will understand why, because what we saw tonight was very clinical from him.
We are going to wrap it up on the other side of this break from Oakland, California, where the Oakland Roots put up 4 and took all 3 points against El Paso Locomotive.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, hey!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
If Mark, Mr. Cartoon Machado, didn't have the fighting spirit to draw out his passion, he never would have turned chrome into a canvas. If he let a lack of tools stop him, he never would have started tattooing using a homemade machine. And if he listened to those who said you need an art degree, he never would have perfected the street look that made him a street legend. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Tonight's match is presented in part by Anthem Blue Cross, User Testing, Credit Karma, UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, Coca-Cola, and Modelo. It's a celebration among the fans as the Roots players do their victory lap around Laney College, greeting the fans for their support tonight, and they greeted them warmly with 4 goals in the first half to take all 3 of the points. It was really no trouble at all in this one. El Paso only had 1 shot on target in the match. It was a very easy night at the office for Paul Blanchette and company. Otar Carlsson, a lot to celebrate with a pair of goals, and we will take a look now at tonight's save of the game, brought to you by Credit Karma. We didn't have much to choose from. In fact, we only had 1 to choose from, and this is it. Right there. It actually doesn't belong to Paul Blanchette. It belongs to the crossbar.
You know, sometimes the post can be a goalie best friend, and in this case, it's the crossbar. Shout out the crossbar. Big time save, reaction save on that snapback header. Puts out a good rebound, too. Well done by the crossbar.
If your save of the game belongs to a piece of iron, you know you had a terrific night as a team. And a 4-0 win for the Oakland Roots as we revisit the full-time highlights, take you all the way back to the 21st minute of the match where the goal scoring started.
And here we go, the trouble down the right side. I talked about it all night. Rito causing problems. You give him that much time and space. He picks his head up, finds the golden boot leader to kick the scoring off for us. Near post finish. Well done by Carlsson there. He picks his head up, plenty of time. Near post run. Boom. One-touch finish. Excellent there from Carlsson. Great build up from the back. Jose Hernandez comes back to receive. Jose Hernandez comes back and receives the ball. Excellent goal there by Oakland to get this game off and running.
Shortly thereafter, it was Rito again down the right side. It was Carlsson again finishing, but he would do it from the penalty spot after Rito drew the foul.
Yeah, he checks in, receives the ball, sprays it out wide. Rito turns on the Jets, gets behind the defenders, and anytime you're sprinting behind the back line, things are going to be trouble. Draws the foul, gets the penalty. Ref points to the spot, and we talked about it. Carlsson with the little the hesitation, throws Newton off a little bit. Newton dives to his right. Carlsson tucks it down the middle. Great penalty there from Carlsson.
Didn't have to wait too long to make it 3-0. Just 2 minutes later, Formella gets in on the fun. And this is one that started all the way back with Blanchette. So if you're the Roots, this is one you play over and over again, showing that your game model works, playing from the back forward.
Yep, again, it's Rito. Great ball in, he has a lot of time and space. Newton with the save, unlucky with the rebound there, but he sticks with it. The married man gets his goal. Rito out wide, picks his head up. Carlsson running near post, draws the center back, creates nothing but space on the back post, and there it is with the tap in after the nice save by Newton.
The icing on the cake. Jose Hernandez, his first goal of the season, did it all himself. The read, the steal, the incredible finish.
Yeah, this was kind of the theme of the night. El Paso with a little bit of lazy passing out of the back. Oakland with well-timed pressure. Jose Hernandez does a good job reading that pass. Absolutely smacks it to the near post. Makes no doubt about it. And I think it was after this one that we were pretty confident that Oakland was going to come away on top of this game.
Hernandez, the exclamation point in the second half. Well, we don't have to show you any highlights for the second half. It was straightforward. Both teams kind of packed it in, coasted to the finish line. One shot on target, really, from El Paso is what sticks out, beside the obvious 4-0 scoreline.
Yeah, and it was, it's saved by the crossbar, which I think it was actually out of bounds on the cross as well. So even that one shot on target, it might be a favor. But Oakland came out to play tonight. They knew that they needed this result. They're chasing El Paso in the standings, and that was the type of game that the Coach Guerrero was looking for, and that's exactly what he got.
Take a look at the out-of-town scores brought to you by Visit Oakland. Get out on the town and visit Oakland to explore arts, culture, and world-class cuisine. A look at some of the other finishes from around the league. 4-0, not the best mark of the day. That belongs to San Antonio. And you have Birmingham and Sacramento at halftime right now, with Birmingham up 1-0 on Sacramento. If you're the Roots, you love that. Your rival's losing, and it's a team ahead of you right now in the playoff race. So keep those points in the Eastern Conference. And that does it for us tonight from Laney College. 4 goals in the first half for the Roots. 2 of them for your Golden Boot leader, Otar Carlsson, to punctuate this 4-0 victory for the Oakland Roots. For our broadcast partner, Jeff Attanella, and the crew that makes this all possible, I'm Joe Malva saying good night from Oakland. Flip over to Sacramento and Birmingham to catch the second half of action here on ESPN+. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.